we curse from birth, immersed in the wickedness of the earth. Hating God, we are carnal, don't want to admit all it hurts.
What up, what up, what up? It is your boy, Regenerate, back with another review, and today we are doing a single review. What single are we reviewing today? It is the single by the homie Bizzle. Not the homie I don't know personally, but Bizzle, and the single is called Feel Away. This single is dope. I understand that this review might be a little bit late, but I didn't hear this single until it had a few weeks after it had come out, because Bizzle had just dropped a project. So I'm thinking he did some kind of thing where he dropped like a late single, like the album's already out, but here's a single for it, or a single from it. But then I realized eventually, oh wait, this is a whole new song that has nothing to do with that project. So I was excited about that. I listened to it, and right away I was like, this dude is killing this. But what does Bizzle do other than kill things, right? Every time he makes a song, usually when he makes a song that is not attached to a project at all, it's just he's got something he needs to say. And that's why it's not even attached to a project, which I would assume is how this one was inspired. He probably was like, the album just dropped, but I'm seeing all this craziness. As an artist, I got to express myself. I'm going to just make something that has nothing to do with a project just to be able to say something to the culture right now, just to get my mind, to get my thoughts off, all of that. And he killed it. Whenever Bizzle makes a song like this, he always bodies it. When he makes something to engage the culture specifically, kills it. So the song is called Feel Away, and he's sort of just talking about the climate we find ourselves in right now, politically, ideologically, sort of all the crazy things going on here in America, at least. The issues with racism and police brutality and division over political party and all these kinds of things. He's seeing it all, and he has to express himself. You could tell he is going through lament, right? He's not feeling good about it all. It's really weighing on his soul. I can relate. At one point throughout all of this, I know that I was driven to my knees in prayer just because I saw so many people hurting right now. The climate is crazy. I'm seeing brothers and sisters in Christ hurting over so many different things going on, and it just drove me to my knees in prayer to say, God, protect their hearts, keep them sound in doctrine and in mind and at peace and all kinds of things. So I was already connected with the song because I have been feeling away, pun intended, just with the reality of all that's going on right now. So it was dope to hear him make a song doing the same thing. Now, the beat for this was perfect. The beat kind of turns up a little bit as he's rapping the verses, but when he is not rapping, the drums drop out completely, and he's able to just sing over this chill, sample. Not even a sample, just the sound of the beat, the instrumentation. Not the drums. There's no drums at all. It's taken out completely, and you just hear Bizzle singing over it. And of course, if you know the way Bizzle sings, you know he's not an amazing singer, and so he's kind of just really chill. It just really gives the lament vibe. He's not trying to impress you with his vocals. He's just like, he's going through it, is how it sounds, and he really is, right? Starts the first verse off with like breaking down that yearning that every believer has when you're seeing wickedness constantly. You just want Jesus to come back right now and destroy it all. Like, Lord, take away all this evil. Get rid of all these evil people, right? But you've always got to check your heart, because you're like, I know that before I became a believer, I was wicked and evil as well. You could have struck me down, but you say you preserved my life for however many years until it came time for you to save me. So we know that God is patient with unbelievers, and he is, we don't understand how much patience he really has, and we're like, Lord, end it now. When will you return, God? But there's probably way more people he's going to save and use for his kingdom through all of these crazy things going on, and we don't know that. And so you got to wrestle with that tension of wanting to see God do true justice to the world, as well as loving people who don't know him yet, who will one day, right? So that was super dope. The reality of social media getting to you. The amount of, when all these shootings were happening and all that kind of stuff, and the rioting, and I'm here in Chicago, so I'm seeing rioting and looting and all that stuff is going on for sure here. But you're seeing all of that constantly, and people are debating, and people are trying to justify the looting, and people are talking about the history that's led to the looting, and yeah, we should be mad at injustice, but this isn't okay. Yeah, it is okay, because and you're just arguing all these videos of people getting shot to death, and it gets to you, and you want to toss the phone away. That's like the Bizzle said in the song. He's like, I want to toss the phone, right? Man, so if that's not relatable, I don't know what is. He calls out the one-sidedness of people's views, right? We get caught up in left and right and conservative and progressive, and Christians hold to certain progressive ideologies, and certain Christians are like, no, we can't ever side with anything they ever say over there. And there's that weird tension within the church of which views to have, and a lot of times, myself guilty as well, and I think all of us, I'm sure Bizzle in the song would say he's guilty of it at times as well. But there's times that we will find information that more so aligns with our own views. Again, this song is extremely real. He speaks to the reality of racism. And a lot of the conversations, at least among Christians, is, people may not hold to a certain view of racism, or that racism is sort of everywhere and in everything we do. And then what does the other side say when they hear that? Oh, you don't believe racism exists. And it's like, nobody's arguing racism doesn't exist. So it's good to have Bizzle come in here and say, yeah, racism does exist. If you're talking about racism don't exist, then you don't understand sin. Sin is in all human hearts. Sin is always going to be here until Christ returns. As long as sin is present, as long as sinners are alive, sin will be present. Racism is one of those sins. Sin is real. Racism is real. He calls out, again, the picking of sides, right? Saying, we got to be Republican or Democrat. These are the right views to have, blah, blah, blah. And this dude is saying, yo, I ain't going to pick out a side because both sides ultimately are evil. That's a proper, if we're going to keep it real, that's a proper biblical anthropology. What does that mean? Anthropology is a big fancy word. If you don't know what it means, that means just your view of man. And the Bible makes it clear that all men are fallen. That's one of the weird, I'm not trying to get political on this, but that's one of the weird things that I've seen, at least as I begin to hear more conservative views. There are people who hold to conservative, quote unquote, views, but don't know the Lord. And that is the strangest thing in the world to me, that people could have conservative views that I guess would align more with the Bible, but you don't know the Lord. So then it's like, where does your passion and desire to fight for these things come from? I don't know. But either way, we know that there are wicked people on both sides, because mankind is wicked. On both sides, people are wicked and evil. And so he's like, yo, I'm not picking a side. He says both of those sides belong to Satan. If that's not bars, I don't know what is. Killed that. So again, he's just cutting through all the nonsense. This is what Bizzle does. If you listen to Bizzle, I think Bizzle defines very well what it is to seek to be balanced. And I'm sure Bizzle is a human being. Every human being has their own presuppositions and filters that they look at things through. So we're not all completely neutral. There's all certain things we do hold to. But I think especially it's the goal of Christians to seek to be as balanced as you possibly can. And I think Bizzle is one of the best artists for that sort of thing. Well, another thing that I think was huge on this song, he sort of went more in detail on the second verse. And one of those things that he said toward the end of the verse, he knew how to structure this song perfectly. Towards the end of the song, I think he said one of the biggest things on here, which was that he's saying white people can be racist, but so can minorities. And he's saying that in this fight, and when minorities are speaking against racism of white people, sometimes it's easy for some minorities to become so outraged by racism that they begin to act like racists. I'm going to leave that there, but he killed that. And this man sees things as they are. You know what I'm saying? And he's not afraid to call it out. Bizzle's always done that. Bizzle, he's speaking to racism and saying it's real, but then saying, yo, we who feel that we are being mistreated with regards to racism, we can be racist as well. We got to check ourselves with that. You can be a minority and be racist listening to this song. Check your heart. Watch out for that. He comes at both sides. Bizzle always has done that. And whatever topic he's talking about, he's always coming at everybody. He got something for everybody. Anybody can get it, right? You gotta love that about Bizzle. Again, he's the perfect guy for this kind of song. Last line of the song. Well, I don't know if it was the last line, but it's one of the last lines. He literally said it right toward the end. But as far as left or right, he says, I ain't gotta pick. I agree and disagree with what I choose to. The amount of times that in a lot of these discussions, sometimes if you'll say one of your views, you get caricatured, right? You get characterized right away as all of these things. A lot of times there is no nuance to say, well, I disagree with that, but I also disagree with that, or I agree with this, but I don't agree with that. Or a lot of times, like, oh, you agree with or disagree with this, then I can assume and know everything about you right away off the bat. And he's saying, nah, I'm gonna pick what I can agree with or not. I don't need to be pigeonholed into one specific thing because I agree with that or not that. He's like, I'm going to pick and choose. And I think this is a great message to Christians. This song is we have to look at everything, be as objective as we possibly can, come to the scriptures, get the clearest possible understanding of what the scriptures say, and as a result, navigate through every other topic and issue in the world. And so no Christian would ever be home politically. Well, you would never be at home politically, but of course you're going to see in certain parties things you can rock with or not. Okay, I see that. I like that. I agree with their intention with that, but that's completely wrong with how they're going about it. You're going to see these things everywhere, but at the end of the day, we have to be faithful to the scriptures. And that's what this man is calling out. He's calling out, you know, in all your outrage about things being done wrong, don't then sin in your way of addressing those things. There's a lot in here. I think Bizzle's one of those guys who can he'll get a little bit deep, but even what he says could always go deeper. There's always something even deeper to what's actually being said. Maybe I'm reading too deep into him, but I like this song a lot. This song definitely has replay value. Dude he killed it. He does what Bizzle does. He sees through all the nonsense. He calls things as they are. I think this is a great song to encourage Christians to hold firm to the truth of God's word, but also a song that Christians can listen to and mourn with and lament with as well. Bizzle was that dude. He killed this song. As always, so much more to say, so little time. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe to the channel. And as always, until next time, go listen to Christian hip hop.